This was just filed today. The American Foreign Service Association and the American Federation of Government Employees versus Donald Trump, the U.S. Department of State, the U.S. Agency for International Development, the U.S. Treasury Department, and Marco Rubio. Oh, and Scott Bessent. That's the guy who heads the Treasury, I believe. Okay. This action seeks... oh, fuck, wait. Should I take notes? No, okay, I think we're good. Declaratory and injunctive relief with respect to a series of unconstitutional and illegal actions taken by President Trump and his administration that has systematically dismantled the United States Agency for International Development, USAID. These actions have generated a global humanitarian crisis by abruptly halting the crucial work of USAID employees, grantees, and contractors. They have cost thousands of American jobs, and they will have imperiled U.S. national security interests. The first of these actions came on January 20th, 2020. I am going to bring my notes up. LOL. I'm such a liar. I guess this falls in government efficiency. Government efficiency. Put this under the OMB memo. I think that's a fine place to put it. USAID. Oh my god. TikTok Live Studio is actually such a dog shit app. Freeze. On January 20th, 2025, when defendant Trump issued an executive order entitled Reevaluating and Realigning United States Foreign Aid, directing an immediate 90-day pause in the United States Foreign Development Assistance for assessment of programmatic efficiencies and consistencies with United States foreign policy. Defendant's State Department and Rubio then directed immediate issuance of stop work orders on USAID foreign assistance awards. USAID guarantees and contractors reeled as they were without any notice or due process. Any notice or process constrained from carrying out their own work, alleviating poverty, disease, and humanitarian crises. Defendant Rubio subsequently named Defendant Trump as acting director of USAID and announced that he would consult with Congress on potential reorganization of the agency. Shortly after, assistance funding was frozen. Over 1,000 USAID institutional support contractors and thousands more employees of USAID contractors or guarantees were laid off or furloughed. The humanitarian crisis consequences of the defendant's actions have already been catastrophic. USAID provides life-saving food, medicine, and support to hundreds of thousands of people across the world. Without agencies' partners to implement this mission, U.S.-led medical clinics, soup kitchens, refugee assistance programs, and countless other programs shuttered to an immediate halt. Days ago, Elon Musk and other members of the so-called Department of Government Efficiency gutted what remained of the agency. Members of DOGE reportedly demanded access to classified USAID systems without requisite security clearances. Ooh. USAID security officials who attempted to block them were placed on administrative leave. Musk tweeted on February 3rd that he spent the previous weeks feeding USAID into a wood chipper, and on the same day, USAID headquarters shut down. More than 1,000 employees, including some war zones, were locked out of their computer accounts. The USAID website now indicates that all USAID direct hire personnel will be placed on administrative leave globally, and on Friday, February 7th, 2025, at 11:59 p.m. You can't... Okay. The lawsuit will go into the civics of it, so it's okay. I don't need to speculate right now. Not a single of the defendant's actions to dismantle U.S. aid were taken pursuant to congressional authorization, and pursuant to federal statute, Congress is the only entity that may lawfully dismantle an agency. Given the severe and ongoing harms suffered by the plaintiff and defendant's intent to inflict imminent future harm, plaintiffs now file this complaint and will seek temporary restraining order directing defendants to reverse these unlawful actions and halt any further steps to dissolve the agency until the court has the opportunity to fully consider the issues on the merits. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy created USAID to aid strategically important countries, lead American efforts to alleviate poverty, disease, and assist commercial interests of the United States by supporting sustainable economic growth in developing countries to build capacity for global trade. An act of Congress, the Foreign Affairs Reform and Restructuring Act of 1998, later established USAID as an independent agency outside of the Department of State. It explicitly provided that there is within the executive branch of government the United States Agency for International Development. The 1988 Act also afforded the president a limited time opportunity to submit to Congress a reorganization plan and report for USAID. To that end, the president was empowered by Congress to either provide for the abolition of USAID or to transfer its function to the Department of State. Alternatively, in lieu of abolition, the president could submit a plan to Congress providing for the transfer and consolidation of certain USAID functions and additional consolidation, reorganization, and streamlining of USAID. The president had 60 days following October 21st, 1998, to submit the reorganization plan and report. On December 30th, 1998, is it 1988 or 1998? President Clinton submitted a report to Congress pursuant to Section 6601. That report demanded that USAID will remain a distinct agency with separate appropriation. Since the Foreign Affairs Reform and Restructuring Act of 1998, Congress has repeatedly appropriated funds for USAID, an independent agency. Congress most recently did so and further consolidated Appropriations Act of 2024. The Appropriations Act also explicitly restricted the ability of the executive branch to reorganize USAID. The act provided that funds appropriated by this act, prior acts making appropriations for the Department of State, foreign operations, and related programs, or any other act may not be used to implement reorganization, redesign, or other plan by the Department of State, the United States Agency for International Development, or any other federal department, agency, or organization funded by this act without the consolidation by the head of the agency or organization with appropriate congressional committees. Further Consolidated Appropriations Act. Sorry. The Appropriations Act defined reorganization, redesign, or other plan to include, inter alia, any action to eliminate, consolidate, or downsize covered departments, agencies, or organization, any action to eliminate, consolidate, or downsize the United States official presence overseas, or reduce the size of permanent civil service, foreign service, eligible family member, and locally employed staff workforce of USAID from the staffing levels previously justified to the committee's appropriations for the fiscal year 2024. So basically, prior to this, there was an act passed by Congress which offered the president a limited time opportunity to submit a reorganization plan, which would consolidate, streamline, or reorganize USAID. But the new act in 2024 basically disallowed the executive branch to reorganize this. To reorganize USAID. Also imposes notification requirements on the funds. Among other things, it provides that no fund shall be available for obligation to suspend, eliminate a program, project, or activity, close, suspend, open, or reopen a mission or post, create, close, reorganize, downsize, or rename bureaus, centers, or offices unless previously justified to Committee on Appropriations or committee are notified 15 days in advance. On January 20th, 2025, Donald Trump issued the executive order, 90-day pause. 4 days later, January 24th, 2025, the Secretary of State redirected his staff to halt foreign assistance funded by or through USAID and required the immediate assurance of stop work orders for the existing foreign assistance grants and contracts. In the following days, USAID issued stop work orders to contractor and guarantee agency partners, requiring them to immediately stop and to minimize the incurrence of costs allocatable to the work covered by order. Okay, so it's basically just said like all the contractors were gone. Defendants simultaneously began purging agency employees and contractors. On January 26th, at least 56 Senator career agency staff were put on administrative leave. By January 29th, hundreds of institutional support contractors were laid off. I want to talk to somebody at some point about unitary executive theory and like the constitutionality of it. Because I believe that it's not in the spirit of our democracy, but I don't know how to like make the constitutional argument for it. As a result of these actions, most functions of the agency immediately halted with life-threatening consequences. Clinics stopped distributing HIV medications. Staff who operate humanitarian operations at refugee camps in Syria were told to stop work. Holy fuck, sorry. Leaving thousands of people vulnerable to instability and violence at the hands of ISIS. Soup kitchens that fed nearly 1 million people. This is really bad. Okay. This is page 11. American Foreign Service Association. This is pretty fucked. We're gonna redo this. Give me a second, though. I'm going to cough along up, because... Hopefully that demon's out of my system. Okay. As a result of these actions, most functions of the agencies were immediately halted. We already read this. Okay. As chaos engulfed the agency and humanitarian aid operations it serves, the State Department issued 2 waivers of its own order to halt foreign assistance through USAID. First, on January 28th, 2025, it issued a limited waiver on the pause of USAID funding for life-saving humanitarian assistance, defined to mean core life-saving medicine, medical service, foods, shelters, and substance assistance. The statement specified that the limited resumption was temporary in nature. Second, on January 1st, 2025, the State Department announced a limited waiver for life-saving HIV care treatment centers, inclusive of HIV testing and counseling. Okay. These waivers offered little to no relief for USAID partners who suffered from the defendant's freeze in funding. They were not self-executing by virtue of the announcement, so contractors and guarantees scrambled to reach USAID contacts to ascertain if they were covered by the waiver. But because agency staff already suffered severe cuts, groups doing life-saving work were unsure how to request a waiver and received little to no information about such statutes or requests. This is such a shit show. During the first weekend of February, defendants swiftly moved to destroy what remained of the U.S. agency. On Saturday, February 1st, Elon Musk and other members of Doge reportedly demanded access to classified USAID systems without requisite security clearances. USAID security officials who attempted to block them were placed on administrative leave. What page is that? 13. Oh, that was a good one. The same day, USAID.gov was taken offline. By Sunday, contract personnel at USAID began reporting that they were locked out of their email. Eventually, more than 1,000 USAID employees, including some in war zones, were completely locked out of their computer accounts. On information and belief, most, if not all, received no prior communication that they would be losing access to USAID systems. Holy fuck. So, talk about like abandoning our allies. Those agency staffers still receiving emails were told that at the direction of the agency leadership, the USAID headquarters at the Ronald Reagan Building in Washington, D.C. would be closed to agency personnel on Monday, February 3rd, 2025. The email directed that any replies be sent to Gavin Kilger, a special advisor to the Office of Personnel Management, who appears to currently be working for Doge. Holy fuck. According to reports, members of Doge also pressed the Treasury Department for access to the systems through which aid payments are being made. A top official reportedly wrote to the group, "I don't believe we have the legal authority to stop and authorize payments certified by the agency." That official was reportedly terminated the following day for a refusal to give Doge members access to the system. By Monday, USAID, the world's premier humanitarian assistance and international development agency, was in complete disarray. Musk stated that he spent the previous weekend feeding USAID into a wood chipper. He also claimed, with regards to USAID stuff, I went over it with President Trump in detail and agreed that we would shut it down. Unconstitutional. Cool. Consistent with the defendant's efforts to shut down the agency, President Trump appointed defendant Marco Rubio as acting administrator of USAID. Defendant Rubio then sent a letter to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee and House Foreign Affairs Committee, providing notice and advising Congress to the State Department's intent to initiate consultations. How's it going, hot boy? Regarding the manner in which foreign aid is distributed around the world, Rubio further indicated that he authorized Peter Marocco, State Department Director of Foreign Assistance, to begin the process of engaging in review and potential reorganization of USAID's activities, which would have been prohibited under that new piece of legislation, which I would say is probably constitutionally dubious, but I don't know. Rubio further advised state and other pertinent entities will be consulting with Congress to reorganize and absorb certain bureaus, offices, and missions of USAID. USAID may move, organize, and integrate certain missions, bureaus, and other offices into the Department of State, and remainder of the agency will be abolished, consistent with applicable law. USAID has already been substantively dismantled. It has no independent leadership. Defendant Rubio has assumed the mantle of acting director, and U.S. Lawmakers concerned about the dissolution of the agency were reportedly blocked from meeting with USAID staff and told that it would be best to contact the State Department. On Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, Trump told a reporter, "I think so," when asked if he was going to wind down USAID. On Tuesday, February 4th, the State Department ordered the shutdown of all overseas USAID missions, ordering thousands of USAID employees to be recalled by Friday, February 7th, 2025. That same day, that's today. That same day, the State Department placed thousands of employees on administrative leave, directing them to, quote, not enter USAID premises, access USAID systems, or attempt to use your position of authority with USAID in any way without the prior permission of Peter Marocco or prior permission of a supervisor in your chain of command. Throughout the week, USAID workforce members reportedly told key positions of USAID internal infrastructure that they were inaccessible or offline. Such infrastructure includes Phoenix, which USAID's core financial management system, as well as global acquisition assistance. On Tuesday, February 4th, 2025, the USAID USAID.gov website came back online with the following notice. I've seen this, yeah. The agency's collapse had a disastrous humanitarian consequence. I think we already covered this. Injuries to plaintiffs. It's not super interesting to me. Okay. Violation of separation of powers. Plaintiffs reinstate and reallege all paragraphs above. The President of the United States has only the powers conferred to him by the Constitution and federal statutes. The President may not confer powers upon the federal offices or departments within the executive branch that he does not himself possess. Federal legislation must be passed in both chambers of Congress before presented to the President. Yeah. The President does not have the power under the Constitution to unilaterally amend statutes. True. The President may not confer powers upon other federal officers or departments within the executive branch that he does not himself possess. USAID was established as an independent federal agency by Congress. Yes. So we'll say legality. This is page 25. Since 1998, Congress has passed numerous additional statutes regarding USAID appropriations and oversight, all while preserving USAID's status as an independent federal agency. Because Congress has created USAID as a separate agency by statute, only Congress may act or dissolve or merge it with the State Department. Trump's actions to dissolve USAID exceeded presidential authority to usurp legislative authority. True. Remaining defendants acting on behalf of Trump. Plaintiffs will suffer irreparable injury. Yeah, the public. Okay. Faithfully executed. So this is basically just a violation of the Constitution, saying that all laws must be faithfully executed by the executive. Plaintiffs. Under the APA, a court shall hold unlawful and set aside agency actions to be found in excess statutory jurisdiction. No defendant possesses statutory authority to dissolve USAID. Okay, so just saying this is outside of his jurisdiction. Okay. All right. That was compelling. I look forward to seeing that unfold. So TLDR is that Donald Trump was basically freezing and reorganizing USAID in order to shut it down, and he's not allowed to do that. Yeah, so they're basically claiming that by putting this pause on and basically firing everybody, you're effectively dissolving the agency, which is permitted to Congress. That's my understanding, which I think is true, but I guess we'll have to see.